Hey, here's an important video that people really need to understand if you want your life to get better. If you don't care about your life getting better, then don't understand this. Because when you understand this, automatically your awareness is going to increase. So everyone talks about programming, right? They're like, I want to change my programming. I want to change my mindset. But do you actually know what programming is? Like, what is the programming that is running your mind, your body, and your life? Technically, it's your vocabulary. It's every single word you've ever learned and the definition you hold for that. This will literally create what's called your resonance. See, some people in the law of attraction world will call this your energy or your aura. Actually, what's going on here is you are resonating out different things that you've accepted and allowed in your life. For example, if you are afraid to spend money, or if you think people are out to get you, or you think relationships can only get so good and then they have to fall apart, you're literally going to create that in your life based on what you're resonating, but then also how you show up. You will subconsciously sabotage yourself and thus create the thing that you don't want. Here's the good news though. You can actually make this all work for you. So I titled this video with the words corruption and clear. What I mean by corruption is not like what's happening in Washington, D.C. right now, even though that's a part of our collective resonance. Corruption is like if you have like a corrupted file, right? Have you ever used on your computer, have you ever had like an old computer or like you use an external hard drive, right? And you have like an old video from like years ago and you're trying to get it to open and it's not opening? What your computer will tell you is that that is a corrupted file. It can't fully access the data on there. Because think about it. This is an important idea for you to at least begin to understand. All of your programming in your body is very similar to how a computer holds programming. A computer holds programming in its hardware. If you look really closely under a microscope, a computer has a bunch of little gates that are essentially open or closed. That's the ones and zeros. That's how information is held, which is really weird when you think about it. It's like you're watching me say this or you're listening to me say this through a phone or a computer. How the hell is the information in there? And it's coming through. It's phenomenally fascinating that that's how reality works, but it is how it works. Here's the thing. If the data is stored in the computer ineffectively, or it's old or outdated, and the computer can't access it, it's going to be a corrupted file, and you can't actually run the program effectively. Same with you as a human. If you're walking around with outdated, faulty programming, and it's all corrupted, what's going to happen? Are you going to be able to run the program you want? Or are you going to glitch out? And in those moments when it counts, those critical key moments when you got to have that conversation with your spouse, or you have a business deal, or you're going to make a big decision. It's like, do you want your programming to be corrupted and faulty? Or do you want it to be really clear? And especially for your kids. Do you want your kids to have corrupted programming? Or do you want them to have clear programming that they intentionally put there and you help them put there? So they're super confident. But here's the thing. Do you know how to get a new program in there or not? Do you know how to actually clear the words within you, the ideas within you? Unless you've actively built out your vocabulary, there's really two ways I've seen of doing this, and one doesn't actually fully work and one absolutely works. One, this is how I got into this kind of thing. There was a really deep process called creating a personal dictionary. And it's where you go through and you're trying to understand every single word that is relevant to you. So if you were to imagine just like A, B, C, D, E, F, G through the whole alphabet, all the words that start with A that are relevant to you. Let's say the word aware and the word authority and the word all and always and anytime, and even the word any, A-N-Y, such a simple word, but do you remember learning that word when you were a kid? Or you just kind of picked it up from your parents and your teachers, your friends, but did someone sit down and actually explain to you what the word any means and all the various contexts of it and the etymology? Do you know what etymology is? It's where these words come from. It actually holds power in it. And so how I learned this was it's been almost 7 years ago now. I was attempting to create a personal dictionary. I was learning this through a group that I was in, and it was so painful because I was trying to clarify these definitions and write out the definitions, and it's called activating and illuminating words because words have power, but only when they're activated within you and only when it's illuminated. Activated means you actually understand it, and illuminated means you can utilize it, you can understand the different definitions of it. It's like you have illumination around it. You can see all the dimensions of the word because words contain dimensions within them. And when that word is activated within you and you can use it, it's like the difference between someone who can speak something into existence and people listen versus someone who tries to speak something into existence and it doesn't change. I'll give you an example. He's a controversial guy, but it's a clear example. Look at Elon Musk. This dude is literally just creating stuff with his freaking words. I mean, yes, he has teams and businesses and money and influence, but this guy is coming up. He literally came up with the idea Grok, Grok. That's what their AI is called with X and what used to be Twitter. Okay. This guy took the word grok from the world of science fiction, which means like to understand something. It's like a kind of a jokey word that's like if you're grokking something, you're getting it, you're understanding it. If you're not grokking something, like it's not sinking, that kind of thing. And he took that word grok and then he literally created it into being arguably one of the most powerful AIs today. And that grok AI is now behind every freaking Tesla you see on the road. And it's bound to be behind all these Optimus robots. That is Tesla's real purpose, is to create robots, where Elon Musk wants 3 robots for every human around the world. Okay? How the hell does Elon do that? He has this ability to speak into existence. He has certain programs that are clear enough for him to create things into reality. Even the word Tesla. He basically stole the word Tesla from Nikola Tesla's last name, and now it's a very different entity. So when people think of Tesla, they're not necessarily picturing Nikola Tesla and all the cool things he did. They're picturing, oh yeah, that car that I see on the road everywhere. And arguably going to be one of the most important companies of all time because they're creating all these robots. That is all powered by this Grok AI. I'm saying that because if you find yourself, to bring it relevant and to ground this point, if you find yourself attempting to speak words into reality, such as, I make this amount of money monthly, or I have the best relationship with my kids, or I'm grateful, even as simple as that, like being grateful, or, things with, your relationship. Like, I have the best relationship. I am supported. I feel safe. I feel secure, whatever. And you're attempting to speak that into existence, but it's not actually being reciprocated by reality, and the people around you aren't mirroring that back to you. On some level, the words you're using to speak into existence are corrupted. Here's the good news, that can change. So earlier I was saying that there's 2 ways of doing this, and one kind of works, but not really. The activating and illuminating words through creating a personal dictionary. I went all out with this. I tried. But I still ran into the issue where I was still only using my conscious mind. It's going to be a deep video, but I got to put this out there. I was trying to change the words, but through writing and through focusing, hoping and praying it would get into my subconscious mind. But some of those seeds stuck and some of them didn't. It's like you're gardening and you're throwing seeds on the ground and you kind of get lucky because some of them stick. That's what I was doing with that. And I mean, I literally put days of my life into trying to make that work. And it only got so deep. It was painful. And I was genuinely trying. Then thankfully, guess what? That led me, because I had that focused intention, that led me to find a group of individuals who are renegade educators who are here to change the system, change the education system, really make a change in the world. And their angle is changing education for kids and adults, like fundamentally real education, not school, but really understanding how reality works and being able to create a result from reality. That's a real education. So they showed me they have a tool that can actually input those words straight into your unconscious. Technically, it's straight into your body. Remember I was talking about computers earlier? What would you say is the hardware of the human? And what is the software of the human? Right? Computers, right? It's like you got the hardware, it's like the actual physical, circuitry and the metal and the gold and the, chips and the quartz and all the stuff that's in the computer. And then you have software that runs on top of it. With a human, guess what? You have cells in your body that hold information. That's what DNA is. This is what we were supposed to learn when we were in 5th grade. But it didn't click. We didn't actually see the magnificence that is the human body. Here's what's awesome. You can input so much more into your body, and you can do it in a perfect way. You can imprint the perfect symbols, which is words, with the perfect definitions, all the different dimensions of the words, and an actual empowering understanding. So when you look at the word awareness or authority or anything, the automatic definition that your mind goes to, that is one that's empowering. This is the way that I have massively changed my life. But I was very serious about it. I did this every day for years. I still do. I just finished the session and I had an insight that I need to make this video. So I have systematically gone through most of the words I've ever learned. I mean, there's millions of words and concepts. But as I've done this, here's what's so phenomenal. When you change your words, you change your world. And I don't mean that in some delusional way of I just feel different and I think it's changing. It's like literally new things manifest when you do this. So if you are interested in changing your words and your programming, and you actually want to activate all these words and have them illuminated, and also clearing words, there's energetic blockages to words. Again, these are ways that the words get corrupted. It's like you'll have these words that you think are empowering or they might feel empowering, but we have all these like weird definitions and memories and traumas and experiences with these words in the past. Like for me, even the word water, I'm going to give you a super simple example. Think of the word water. And on a conscious level, you're probably like, oh yeah, water. Water's cool. Water's great, or I like the sound of running water, or I like to be hydrated, or whatever. For me, that's how I thought I was. I thought, oh yeah, the word water is cool. Water's part of life. When I started to actually really dig into each of these words, because I genuinely wanted to change my life and I genuinely want to make a difference in the world, when I started to really do the inner work, guess what I realized? I had unconsciously connected to water. It was a corrupted file within me. I had a memory pop up that I completely suppressed. When I was in 3rd grade, I almost drowned and died. And I completely forgot about it until I was doing the deep inner work on it. In 3rd grade, I went off of water. I didn't know how to swim. I was not good at swimming lessons. It was just whatever. I wasn't good at swimming. And I went in a water slide at a friend's like pool party, and I went in the deep end. I didn't know how to swim. I was like gulping in water, and I almost died. I got to the edge of the pool. I got out. I cried. I kind of got the water out. Then I just went back to playing. Totally suppressed it. Here's the thing. I held that memory and that energetic response of the adrenaline of almost dying, of the fear, of the crying, of not having an adult there seeing that and comforting me after. And I held that as part of the corruption in the file of water. And then think so what, if that was when I was, let's say 10, and I was 26 when I started to look at this, for 16 freaking years, subconsciously, I was reliving that under the surface. Every time I drank water, every time I took a shower, every time I went into, the lake to go swimming, every time I went to a pool, that stuff is still in there. But we become so numb to it, so accustomed to it, we just go through our life and we're kind of sleepwalking, if we're really honest with ourselves. We're kind of sleepwalking through our lives and we're just getting by just to survive. And then you procreate and you got kids and, you feel good most of the time, or you try to feel good, or you enjoy the weekends and, the little special moments. But it's like, is that really living? For me, I'm here to really live. And I'm here to help as many people as possible really live. So as we can change ourselves, change our programming, change the words within us, that literally, equal in one, will change the world around us. I'll give you one more example. I then started to really reprogram myself in how I relate to people. I used to not be good at talking, like at all. Like I couldn't make a video without like being really nervous. It would be very draining for me. I didn't like to meet new people. I would mask it with alcohol and weed, honestly. It was like, I could justify it and I could be like, yeah, I'm a social person, whatever. But deep down, I was like, I'm not really good at relating to people, honestly. And I started to reprogram myself in my understanding of social, like the word social. Funny enough, I got my minor, like I got my major in psychology. I went to university, did the whole thing. Got my minor in sociology. So you would have thought, oh, and I got good grades too. You would have thought, oh yeah, this guy clearly, if he got good grades, he's got his degree in psychology, and then he's got a minor in sociology. This guy must know how humans work. He must be confident talking to people, right? Deep down, I had no idea what I was doing because I didn't change any of the stuff under the surface. I could memorize stuff for a test. I could make it look like I knew what I was doing. I graduated cum laude, which means I got good grades. But I didn't actually, deep down, really understand what was going on. So over time, especially doing this process of clearing the words, really reprogramming the words, doing that, I became confident enough that I would go to events and I would just meet the people that I was looking for. Like it was automatic. I would go to an event, like not even be trying. Like I would just go to meet people. I kind of learned how it works. It's like you'll actually just resonate with people and they'll show up to you. The first one was I met my actual wife now, Jessica. I was trying to make a previous relationship work. I had just started this reprogramming process. I was maybe a month or two. Well, yeah, it would have been 2 months into it, and I had started to really reprogram how I wanted to show up in relationships, and I was really looking for the ideal partner for myself. So I was clearing these corrupted files because all my previous relationships sucked. Like I was not good. And it's not to blame them. Like I was sabotage myself. I would doubt myself. I wouldn't know how to lead in the relationship. I was just a mess, and I was really good at masking it. And then, so as I started to clear that stuff up, guess what? My friend calls me out of the blue because everything's interconnected. He could pick up on it subconsciously. He goes, "Hey, dude, you got to come to this meetup. Like, I think you'll like it." Because I had just moved back to Minnesota as well. I was living in California before. And my first thought was, nah, I don't want to go. I was just focused on e-commerce. I wanted to make a lot of money. I just wanted to lock in and go monk mode, as these young guys are calling it nowadays. I was just locked in, focused on my laptop, trying to make money. And he was like, "No, dude, you should really come to the meetup. Like, come on." And I was like, "You know what? Okay, I'll go for an hour." So it was the next day. I'm like, "I'll go for an hour. If it sucks, I'm going to leave." Guess who I meet? Literally the first person I meet. After I park my car, I'm walking up to the building. I can still see it now. Literally, my now wife greets me at the door. That was the first time I met her. And guess what? I didn't even see it. I was just like, "Oh, she seems cool. She's friendly. Great." And she like took me on the elevator to get to the event. And we hit it off like we were friendly and we were talking about this kind of things. I love talking about this. But it took me a while to see it because I still had all these corrupted files. So my question for you is, what do you see are the corrupted files within you? Like I'll give you some examples that are classic for people. Authority, doubt. Like just as you're hearing these words, just notice what is the feeling you get within you, like in your solar plexus, as well as any memories that pop up. Okay. Authority, doubt, humiliation, greed, pain, suffering, survival, money, love, hurt, divorce, exclusion, being ostracized, the word media, the word helpless, hopeless. These are different words that we are walking around very likely with a energetic sting to it, really. It's kind of painful to think about. I'm sure watching this video, you might even want to click off because you're like, screw this. I don't want to think about this. But my question for you would be, at what cost? Because if you don't get this stuff corrected in you, guess what happens? Just going to be blunt because it's important that I say this. You will pass it on, especially to the next generation. Because you have to. They're literally absorbing stuff from us 24/7, especially in the first 7 years. But throughout childhood, our kids are unconsciously absorbing this and downloading all the stuff from us. So even if you don't mean to, you're going to pass on your limitations to your kids. Even if you mean really well, it can backfire. And so, again, here's the good news. You can actually go through and systematically change all of this within you. And it's not actually that hard to do. With a specific tool that I recommend, it's easy to do, but you will have resistance to it because we tend to fight for our comfort zone. We like to stay with what's familiar, and you don't want to rock the boat, right? You don't want change. Even though you say you want change, you also don't want change. It's this weird thing, right? The word change, that would be a corrupted file. But what if rocking the boat is what actually stabilizes the boat? Okay? So what I'm asking you is, if you are a person who actually genuinely cares and wants to change, I'm asking you to up your standard to that next level and reach out. I'm more than happy to show you how I've done this for myself, how I've seen hundreds of other people do this. I've seen people literally save marriages that were so screwed. Like they were on track to divorce and they literally changed it. Like some broken families too, you know, you got stepkids, all that, like disrespect, like so much that by all standard definitions, or you know, and they were going to marriage therapy. I mean, these were not people who were just ready to give up. Like they were doing the therapy, they were doing the exercises, but they still had all the corrupted files, so it wasn't really changing. You could use your willpower and you could really, really, really try, but then you're fighting this huge uphill battle when your programming is fighting against it. They changed the programming, they changed the relationship. Now it's incredible to see. Like my friends Bruce and Kristen especially are the main ones, but Joe and Kayla Jackman, they're not, and these are people that are cool saying it, like they talk about it openly. So I'm not, you know, sharing stuff that they'd be sensitive about. But I have seen so many relationships get healed because they were each willing to do the inner work and utilize these tools, but also they're surrounded by people who also do this thing, which helps a lot. Because you can make a decision to change, but then if you don't plug in and really ask for help and utilize that support, you're only going to get so far. But that's a big one. And then the other is with money. I have seen people make so much money that it's actually kind of intimidating. Like everyone says they want more money, but then when you actually get more money coming in, it's honestly, it can be very stressful if you're not prepared for it, because you start to see how much money can come in, and then your subconscious mind will freak out because you have all these other corrupted programs, and you'll find ways to sabotage it. And so I'm a big fan of having like stair step change, because it's not so much that you like have a breakdown, but it's like stair step change. And as you do that, you open up so much possibility. Like my wife and I got this homestead. I mean, it took us a while to handle making the money, and then me seeing how I was making the money. I didn't like it. I was doing e-commerce drop shipping shit from China. Just wasn't it wasn't what I actually wanted to do, but it was nice because I had the money. But then now we have our homestead and we do events, and now we got kids, and like it's been this constant progression. But what's been true the whole time is that I have been actively working to change the programming, and thus this changes what shows up in my world and how I handle it and being able to handle it. Because having a homestead and 10 acres and animals and kids and a wife and a business and clients and responsibilities is a lot. If I didn't have the ability to change the programming, I would have sabotaged this 4 years ago, right after we moved in. I promise you. But I've been able to handle this, and I'm still just getting started. Like I'm looking at the next, not just the past 4 years, but I'm looking at the next 40 years and where my kids are going to be and what the world's going to look like. And back to what I was saying about Elon Musk and these robots, AI and robotics is going to really change the game. And so if you're walking around on eggshells, kind of afraid to rock the boat and a little bit of fear and getting the corrupted files, I'm telling you, to is it riskier to actually start to change, or is it riskier to stay the same? And I'm not asking you to take blind risk. Of course, you want to be calculated, but this is me offering an invitation that if you resonate with this, let's connect more. And for those of you in the community who already know what I'm talking about with the tools, and there's the writing process too, and you can do the self-forgiveness, there's so much. If you're not, like, just honestly rank yourself 1 to 100. Are you 100% going all out with it? Or are you still like 20%? Because I promise you, the more you can really commit to yourself and changing yourself, the more everything around you opens up. And that is literally how we change the world. This is why I make these videos, is because this is what I'm here to do. And so hit me up. Hit me up on Facebook. If you got my number, just shoot me a text. Say, hey, I saw that video and let's connect. I can help you figure out what are those next points to focus on. And if you're like, hey, I got some corrupted files and I don't want to talk, but I can sense there's something here, text me. Just hit me up. We can talk. I promise I'm not some high pressure guy who's going to try and force you to change your life. Because guess what? If the decision doesn't come from you, you're just going to resent me. And so the decision's got to come from you, but I can be an awesome support and I can be a mirror to hold up to you. I can help hold you to the standard you say you want for yourself and for your kids especially. Then the last thing I'll say is, especially if you have kids or you care about the kids of the future, or you want to have kids at some point, or you want to have more kids, everything that's in our education system so far, whether you put your kids in school, public school, private school, Montessori school, a nature school, or whether you're homeschooling and you're using the standard programs out there, ABC Mouse or whatever, unless you're actively making sure your kid has comprehension and grasp of the words and they are confident with those words, unless that's being handled, where your kid has mastery of their vocabulary, which is mastery of their programming, unless they have that, all the other stuff it's only going to get in so deep. And where the world is headed, and when you have the top AI experts, and you have the top Silicon Valley people, and you got Peter Thiel and all of these people who have influence and power, and I mean, you even look at Trump and JD Vance and what they're proposing with AI and how we're in this arms race with AI. The world is massively changing in front of our eyes. They just dropped they dropped GPT-5. This thing is going to replace so many jobs. And I know the initial thought is, well, it's going to create new jobs, right? I hope it is. Not necessarily. You've got to learn to become entrepreneurial. There will be opportunity for sure. But if you're walking around or your kids are walking around with limited programming versus having a broad set of programming and a broad set of skills and a network and support and people around them, like I would way rather be on that team that has the programming and the individual mastery and the group support. Way rather be on that team than just hoping that my the old school stuff is going to keep working, because we're very ripe for big disruption, and I want to see it be the most beautiful, awesome disruption and change rather than something that's painful for people. But sometimes people need a little pain to wake up. I'm not wishing that on anyone, but I'm just saying I'm here for you. Whether you want to talk now or it's going to be a year and you lose your job or things change or inflation gets so high that you can't pay your bills. And it's like, I would rather be preventative than reactive. I'm going to say that again. I would rather be preventative than reactive. And we say this with our health all the time, or with our things. It's like, we know prevention is the best cure. We know we want to eat healthy so that way we don't cause problems later on. But are we doing that for our mind, for our emotions, for our programming, with our purpose, with who we are in this world? Are we also being preventative in that way? I know I am, and I'm here to help as many people as possible to also be like that, okay? So reach out to me and let's connect further. All right, see you.